Welcome back to our channel. Today I'm going to interview someone who's been retired a long time and see how things have changed over the years, and maybe how the concerns of retirees might have changed, or maybe they're the same. I don't know. We're about to find out. And today I'm lucky enough to be joined by my mom. This is Marilyn, and she has been retired, what do we figure, 23 years?
Yeah, roughly. Yeah.
Okay.
2002.
Right. Do you care if they know how old you are? Okay. So she's 78. She'll be 79 in a couple of months. And so she retired kind of earlier than me, even. You were 56 and you retired, right?
Yep.
Okay. So why don't you just, first thing, tell everybody a little bit about what you did, I guess, as I was growing up and when you started to work and that kind of thing.
Well, as you were growing up, I was a housewife and I raised two children. And I volunteered with the PTA and Cub Scouts, Boy Scouts, took my kids all over. And then later on, I got a job at Area Education Agency in Iowa. And
That was about the same time I graduated from high school, right?
yeah, real close around there.
So
Yeah.
1984. So you went to work.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I enjoyed that for about 18 years. It was something that challenged me. Computers were just coming on board, and as I recall, I came home one day and told Rich I didn't think I could handle it, and he said, "Mom, you can." And I guess 18 years later, I must have handled it.
Right.
But I decided to retire early. My husband had retired from John Deere, and they came to the area AEAs were going to be combining, and I was going to have to drive an hour to and from work every day. Or the next year, I was able to retire anyway, so I just took a year ahead of what I could have.
Okay.
So
So when you were thinking about retirement, and like I said, I think it was 2002 or so, um, my stepdad, John, had already been retired. I mean, we didn't know exactly, 5 or 6 years,
yeah, hmm,
right? Um, and you guys were in a position financially where it wasn't going to be a problem, right?
correct,
Okay.
correct. We had saved enough and we were able to start traveling about then for a while too.
And he had a pretty good pension from Deere,
Hmm.
and plus he did some part-time work after he retired, and just to kind of maybe pad the bank accounts a little bit, right?
Yeah, and he had so much fun at his part-time job, he coerced me into working there too. So we were in a department store and I kind of demoed things.
Okay. All right. So what was, you're thinking, like you said, you were a housewife basically until I graduated from high school. So um, when you went back to work, were you, or when you went to work, I guess, in the mid 80s, were you at that time thinking about, I need to put some money together for retirement? Because I mean, you had recently got divorced,
Right.
and I mean, was that on your mind?
No, not when I initially started the real job. Um, Retirement wasn't on my mind. I was just going to try to keep everything as it was, keep the house going. And uh, I don't think I thought about retirement until I turned 50. Yeah, I think probably my 50th birthday.
Okay. And about that time, see, your 50th birthday, you'd have been,
50.
yeah, but you'd have been married to John at that point.
Uh huh.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so he was a few years older than you, right?
He was 2 or 3, yeah, 3 years. Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay, so let's talk about John for a minute. So again, times were a little different. In the 90s, he had been working for John Deere for 30 plus years, and it was a union job, good benefits, good wages. But 96, 97, 98, somewhere around there, he retired. So he's in his mid 50s.
Yeah.
And what played into the decision for you both for him to retire?
Well, I don't think I had a whole lot to do with it. One day he came home from work and said, I think I'm going to retire tomorrow. And yeah, I was kind of speechless. And he said, because they're downsizing in employees, and they just offered me a nice bundle to retire early.
Okay, so
And
he got some sort of a golden parachute.
golden handshake, he
Okay,
called it.
right. Okay. So they offered an early retirement plan, and he said, "Okay,
I'll go.
even though I'm only mid 50s, I'm out of here."
Hmm.
Okay, and that's kind of why he went back to work part time then, because he just felt he was too
He,
young to be not working.
right, right. He the first year or so after his retirement, him and another fellow gutted my kitchen and expanded it and put a deck on the back of the house, and he kept busy. And when that was all done, he just didn't know what to do, so he found a part-time job.
Okay, all right, and he's a Vietnam veteran, and so he retired in somewhere in the late 90s. About the time he turned 60, though, he started to have some health issues, right?
Right, right. He started with the coughing and couldn't breathe. Um, he ended up with, they had diagnosed it with his lungs were, had glass-like particles in it, which meant asbestosis. And he battled that for 8.5 years, and he passed away in 2013.
Okay, so he passed away, but because of, I guess, the benefit package that he retired with, you guys were taken care of medically, yeah, the whole time. You still have that medical insurance, right?
I still have that package. I'm one of the lucky ones around
Right.
anymore.
Yeah, and you still get uh, at least a portion of his pension, or he
I
gets
get
full
that.
pension?
I get no a portion of it,
Okay,
and I have some IPERs that I get.
so that's the
Mm,
pension you got from your
from the
work with the
area.
area
Yeah,
education agency.
yeah.
Okay, and but by today's standards, those numbers that you get aren't big, right?
No, no.
But you also get some Social
I
Security
get,
and
yeah.
okay,
I own my condo. I since moved from a house after 45 years.
right
I
about the same time. Matter of fact, you guys bought the house before the condo before John passed away, and then
and it was not even started yet being built. But then he passed away a month after we signed the papers. And the last words he said to me was, move. So
okay,
my kids all pitched in and helped mama move.
that's right. Okay, and so I know you watch our channel, and I've talked many times about how you never know what tomorrow's going to hold, right? And so John started getting sick around 60.
Hmm.
So here I am, 59 and a half, and I retired this year. So I think it's kind of a case in point, right? That you don't know. Like, I
No,
mean, he didn't have health issues before getting diagnosed with this lung problem, right?
no, no, he had none.
And you guys were wintering away, and you still did that even while he was getting
Yeah,
progressively sicker.
worse. Yeah,
You were still doing those things. You were doing the things that retirees tend to do, wintering somewhere warmer,
right.
right? And so what in your retirement, and now you've been retired 20 some years, what has been not like you thought it was going to be? I mean, you were planning to have a husband the whole time, right?
Right,
So that was an adjustment for sure.
right.
But what in general? I mean, how about making and keeping friends? Has that been harder or easier than you thought it
Oh,
would be?
I sort of we had a good group of friends. John was commander at the AMVET post, and we all just, everybody did everything together. And once you become one, it's not the same. I'm still very good friends with the people, but I see them maybe 2 to 3 times a year as opposed to 2 to 3 times a month.
Yeah, you guys were pretty active in the AMVETs and seeing those folks all the time.
Yeah, yeah, we worked together on one community project or another, and so that changed. I went down to the AMVET several times alone, and it just wasn't me.
So you think it didn't change necessarily because of retirement. It changed more because you were a couple and now you're single.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
The retirement, yeah.
That's
So
okay though. I mean, that's part of it, right? I
yeah,
mean, a lot of people, lose a spouse early in their retirement, and it's reasonable to think about. You don't spend a lot of time thinking about how that's going to change things.
no, you don't. You just go from day to day, and then all of a sudden something slaps you in the head, and you go, oh yeah, if only.
Right.
You know.
Right. Did you, I guess on that note, did you find yourself saying, I wish we would have done something beforehand?
No, no, I think we did. John was the planner, and we went to the Philippines just on a whim. Um, yeah, it. No, I think he enjoyed his life, and I enjoyed my life with him. It was crazy. It was busy, and I never knew from one day to the next what might happen as far as what we were going to do or go. But no, it wasn't planning for anything bad.
Right.
Yeah, it
Okay.
just.
All right. So what, maybe opposite of that, what has been better about retirement than maybe you thought it would be?
Well, at first, I could see my grandkids a lot. I babysat both sets of parents' kids from time to time, and it was just very, very pleasurable. Um, the dirty diapers, not so much, um, but no, that was fun. And then, um, yeah, it remind me again what we're saying.
What about retirement has been a good surprise?
Well, there's been freedom. I don't have to clean my house today if I don't want to. I
Okay.
can do it tomorrow because somebody calls and says, let's go shopping, or let's do this, or I want to watch something on TV or read a book. I really did get into a lot more reading since I moved to this location. Um, so, yeah, I was a book lady. And then, uh,
Okay.
sure,
That's okay. I think how about, so one thing that frustrates me sometimes as your son is how tight you are with your money. And do you think that's kind of from growing up when you did, kind of a scarcity mindset and
yeah, my parents were both very frugal.
right?
I mean, of course, growing up in the 50s
Mm-hmm.
and early 60s, it was, you know, you could babysit for 35 cents an hour. I mean, now kids are getting 10 or 15 bucks an
Oh,
hour.
that's on the low side.
That's on the low
That's on
side.
the low side.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
But
I think, and you are very frugal. And I mean, I appreciate that about you. I think and maybe even like recently I was able to convince you to go talk to a financial person, and so you're kind of venturing out on that a little bit slowly, which is good. I think that's good. So let's what about watching me retire? Has that changed anything for you, like expectation wise?
no, it really hasn't. Um, I am happy that you got to retire and that you were financially able to. Um, Actually, I'm very proud of you. And you're going to make me cry.
Yeah, don't do that. So what about like so do you feel like now that I'm retired, I should be coming to see you more?
No, no, because right now you're in the heyday of your retirement,
Okay.
and you had these thoughts for years probably in your head. When I retire, I'm gonna this,
Right.
this, and this. And I think just go do it. But if I call you and say, "Can I drive down to Kansas City and see you?" I want you to say, "Yeah, when you want to do it." And I'll tell you, and nope, that's not going to work. But the next weekend might. And okay, I'm really happy for you.
Okay. So if you were if you now you're, 78, almost 79, you're looking back on your 20 some years of retirement. What do you what do you tell people, or what do you think you could tell people about how to stay happy in retirement and like stay plugged in?
Well, one thing that I've found is that after I lost my husband, I started going to church with Rich, and it was just the Sunday thing, and I could always see him there. And um, then he moved, and I thought, well, I'm going to do this anyway. And so I went to church alone and sat with different people at different times, and I got involved in the church. They call it Route 55. It's an older young people. And I met this fella, and we both joined this hiking club there at church. And I first started out in that, and then I was asked to be on the team leadership committee for this group to plan something for every month, and I'm on that. And now we're greeters twice a month at church, and we just church is a big deal.
Okay. And it's, yeah, like it does several things, right? It keeps you connected to other people that are in your generation or in your stage of life,
Yep.
and it helps you feel like you have some purpose, right?
Yeah, something to do, and something to do that other people will enjoy too.
Okay. All right. So I guess then what I'm hearing there is, if you're telling people how you think you are having an enjoyable retirement, it's really about staying involved in the community in one way or another, right?
Staying busy. And one thing I'd like to say, just because of the neighborhood I live in, it's a pretty much retirement neighborhood. It is not a home or a care facility by any means. But during COVID, when everybody was told to stay in and lock your doors, um, I visited with somebody at one of the care facilities that has individual dwellings there too, and they said something to the effect that we all go out in our driveways every morning and wave, or every noon and wave, just to make sure that people are still hanging in there. And people like that at our age that I was then, it's like, you need to see people. You can't just stay and watch TV all the time in the four walls. So I thought that's such a cool idea that I sent out a blanket email to the whole neighborhood. And I'll be darned if 2 days later everybody wasn't out in their drive waving. And to this day, there's probably 10 of us that still gather at noon if we're not doing something else.
Right. So again, another
Social,
example of maintaining social connections,
right.
and it kind of gives you, like you said, a reason to get up off the couch and at least go out to the front porch and say hi to the neighbors, right?
Yeah, right, right.
Okay. All right. So first, I want to thank you for being willing to sit down and have this conversation. I think it's important for people like me that are just entering retirement and trying to get our feet on the ground and see where we're going to go, to be able to learn from people like you who've been
The
in it
older
for
folks.
yeah, who've been doing it for 20 years. And also those people that are preparing, they can watch a channel like mine and see what my preparation and early retirement looks like, and then they can see somebody like you who's been doing it for a while and doing it pretty successfully for a while, being able to do what you want to do when you want to do it, pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah. And I do still go away in the winter.
Yep.
Not as much.
Not for
6
as long a
weeks,
time,
a long time, yeah. But every January to March, I go to the beach.
Right.
And
So yeah, I mean, it's all a matter of and I think, and maybe I think you'd agree with me, so much about having a good retirement is up here.
yeah.
Right? You got to be thinking, I can do this. Like, I can go to the beach for 6 weeks, even though I'm almost 80 years old. I can do that, and you're very successful at it, and that's great. So I think, again, the message is, if you can retire, doesn't matter how old you are. If you can financially do it, and don't wait for some milestone that is out there on the horizon that everybody waits for.
Yeah, 'cause you don't know when that horizon's going to disappear.
Right. Okay. So again, Mom, I appreciate you being willing to sit down
Yeah.
and have the conversation. I hope somebody out there gets something from this conversation, and if you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. Robbie and I really appreciate you watching our channel. So thanks for watching, and God bless.